Mixtape is gonna be one of the greatest disasters in gaming history. And I'm not even kidding about this. With every day, we get so much new information of how all of this happened. And a lot of it is funny, but some of the stuff here is just flat out unbelievable, honestly. In any case, Mixtape is without a doubt the most push industry planned type of game in the history of all of gaming. I do not remember anything else that was pushed this unbelievably hard. And then when I say pushed hard, I mean everything. They literally did everything to try and push and make this thing an absolute success. And needless to say, they completely failed. Gamers just rejected it. But I mean, boys, you don't understand how big the push has been. They pulled all of the strings, starting from obviously the games, legacy games media journalists. Everyone gave it a 10 out of 10, a 9 out of 10, and some of the bravest almost a 10 out of 10. Yes, it was a push like no other. And how can this all happen? Well, that is a good question, because there's more of this happening. Getting legacy games media to push something requires a little bit of connections, requires money, but they did not stop there. Again, the most pushed thing in history. They literally had influencer packages sent out to people. Look at this. This is what some people got, YouTubers and other types of personality people got to promote this game. Watch this. Yeah, this is already the fakest thing I have seen in my life. Yeah, it's the classic goodie bag of garbage. So you say our game is great. It's the best thing since sliced bread. 10 out of 10. And so many people got this. Yes, they literally remade 90s style cassette players. Well, in this case, it's a CD player, I guess. With this, they went all out. Doing this probably costed them literal thousands, and they gave this to so many influencers. You got the t-shirts. My t-shirts obviously better and manlier. You got the everything. Published by daughter of the 5th richest man in the world. Government funding, fully licensed soundtrack, being indie. By the way, yes, also that happened, but more on that later. Perfect scores, expensive gift sets sent to content creators. And by the way, they sent this to everyone that they could, except me. And I feel very offended because of that. But this is the guy you see in the clip. 27k subs on YouTube, completely dead irrelevant channel. They sent this out to absolutely anyone who they thought they can just get to promote this thing. They spent probably literally millions on this campaign. And you know what's the funniest part? I don't know how Skill Up honestly has an audience. Every single bad corporate slob game, 10 out of 10. I recommend Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League. I recommend Mixtape. Here's an actual decent game that people liked, Lost Judgment. No. Bad. This guy didn't even get a gift bag. This guy's so useless, they didn't even have to send him a gift bag. He just understood the assignment on his own. Oh my god. And everyone who can is pushing this nonstop. There's so many channels, there's so much of anything. They went full on calling this an indie game. Do you guys have any sense, do you guys have even a shred of shame? The term doesn't even mean a goddamn thing anymore. What is an indie game has been a discussion since, honestly, Claire Obscure won Game of the Year award as an indie. Because, I mean, technically it's a studio out of nowhere, but also it's a studio that had a huge amount of funding in the tens of millions and was made by people who left Ubisoft. So yeah, the term indie doesn't mean a lot here, but again, like, Mixtape pushed the idea that it's indie so unbelievably hot, yet it has literally 12 fully licensed tracks on it. Hollywood movies don't have sometimes 12 fully licensed royalty tracks on them. But this game actually did. This is the amount of money they spent on this, and that's, by the way, the reason you saw day one articles saying, oh, Mixtape is gonna be game of the year, guys. It's so good, it's so great. Listen, you're failing for the most obvious industry plant in gaming history. This isn't some indie dawdling, it's a vanity project funded by a billionaire Harris who's literally the daughter of the third richest man on earth. Yes, by the way. And I looked into this, and it's kind of funny actually, but this game was fully effectively sponsored by Larry Ellison's daughter. I think it's the one in the middle. I'm not 100% sure of these people. But anyway, one of them is a daughter. Pick your poison, I guess, in this case. I would personally say... I digress. But yes. See, Mixtape was published by Annapurna Interactive. It was made by developers from Beethoven and Dinosaurs. We already looked into this. Complete garbage, completely nonsensical. Their previous work was literally this, and it's as garbage as you may think. And by the way, it seems like this was also bought because you need to understand, a game that had a whopping all-time peak of 72 players getting 1K reviews on Steam is quite impossible. But this is something that we actually can see here. Because you see, Annapurna Interactive, I looked at this and I completely forgot. It slipped my mind because I remember after someone reminded me about who this is owned by, I was like, oh right, they did the other thing. I looked initially at it and I was like, well, they literally have nothing. But, you know, I remember Stray. Stray probably sold close-ish to 1 million copies. So it has money, but they don't have enough money to, you know, subsidize all of the things around Mixtape that are currently happening. Which is, you know, again, the greatest AstroTurf story of modern day gaming. So I was like, someone has to be paying for this because none of this makes sense. Someone has to be putting in money. The graphs don't make sense. Nothing makes sense. Look at this. It's a Monday and this thing is rolling like it's fucking Crimson Desert or some shit. It hasn't even lost 50% of its player base on a Monday. And it didn't have a player base to begin. This is a 2 to 3 hour long game, boys. How the hell do people still play it? I don't know. Did everyone die while playing this and just forgot to log off? Is that what's happening here? Because it doesn't make sense. And by the way, this is a game that peaked at 2.2k players and has 3k reviews on Steam. This is wild. And a lot of other people are noticing this, okay? Obviously, also, the conversation about this is as bad as you may expect because, again, they did not pull any punches when they tried to push this thing to be Game of the Year. Okay, you got your typical suspects literally writing out paragraphs why this is the greatest thing alive and posting that only 36% of people finished this game, which is honestly, typically 10 to 20% of people finish this game, but you need to understand that this is a 2-3 hour game that probably literally plays itself if you go away and you know it keeps on running. So how the hell did only 36% of people finish this game while it's being played by? How? This does not make any sense. This does not make any sense. And obviously, they're pushing the message, Mixtape is actually pretty good if you don't listen to the haters. This is your typical Dragon Age the Veilguard spiel. This is all of those garbage tier games that failed and everyone hated, and then these people try to rewrite history and say, well, actually, it was pretty good. No one just played it because people just randomly decided to hate it for no reason, apparently. That's what they do. That's how they do these things. They're continuing to try. Honestly, I love Mixtape because it just proves how absolutely powerless wokeness is. How all of these leftoids has lost all power because they're doing the classic things. Okay, like this meme, for example, just a small $20 game, eggs game bubble. I fucking hate you and I hope you Minecraft. It's not a small $20 game, buddy, okay? This is a multi-million-dollar thing sponsored by the third richest man in the fucking world, okay? A literal 100%, 100 billionaire times a couple of, okay? That's what we're talking about here. And they're pretending. By the way, this is all cope. I absolutely love this because they're saying the X-Gamer bubble. The X-Gamer bubble, I'm sorry, where the hell are all the players if only the people on Twitter are currently thinking this is bad, huh? Where are they? Are my eyes wrong? Are these numbers actually bigger? Does this have 2 extra zeros and I'm just not aware? What's going on here? But no. And again, they're just gonna lie about obvious things to your face in hopes that you don't actually notice. Don't trust your eyes, trust what they say. It's absolute insanity. Also, this is probably one of the funniest things. Someone went in this person's Twitch channel while he was playing the game, and the developers said, "You suck." And this is the official Mixtape game, by the way. Official thing. Geoff Keighley saw our game and got a massive boner. I believe that. And then we wrote this game by studying The Last of Us, not saying 2, and God of War, and decided to do none of that. This is the official thing. It's insane. The money we spent on the music we cut by firing the writers. I believe all of this full absolutely heartedly, okay? And again, they just can't stop. I always find it super funny the length people will go to try and bring someone down a peg. And they're trying to shame you. They're trying to shame you and saying, "Oh, why are you hating on Mixtape? It's just a fun game. Why are you speaking ill of it?" That's because it stole money potentially from something that could have been really good. It's trying to push its agenda on us. I mean, I don't even need to say all the reasons. We know that there are countless ones. And again, they're trying to go everywhere. They're calling you evil. They're calling you a bad man. They're saying it's not a big deal, Chad. Why are you so interested in this? They're pulling all the stops. And of course, the botting. I talked about the botting yesterday. I honestly think that the Mixtape thing is botted. I mean, we're literally talking about a company that has access to literally hundreds of billions, and I'm not kidding, hundreds of billions in capital. Liquid fucking funds, in fact, probably. So yeah, I would assume that they would bought something like this. Because again, this is a literal 2 to 3 hour game, and there's no way to make it longer. And yet, we don't see any dips, and people are still playing it. And there was a very interesting thing that this person said right there. Permaban, give me Banhammer. And they said, a shizo time, this just seems odd to me. There's more positive reviews than max players on Mixtape. We have seen this granted on a couple of Vogue games before, but on those games I also don't know if it's actually true people playing. And the point here is like this. You look at all of these games that got released not long ago, 2 months, 7 months, 3 months, and so on, you will see that these games have obviously less reviews than max players. This is normal. And then you see the games that have been out for literally forever that actually have more reviews than players. Left 4 Dead, Skyrim, Elden Ring, and whatnot. You know, these are all releases that have been out for multiple years and people absolutely love them. And that's when, and over the years they get, because people like them, they get more they get more positive reviews than that have been peak players playing it. But but you know, that doesn't happen here. For some reason, this game somehow has 3K reviews, while the peak was only 2K, which seems extremely unbelievable considering everyone already played it. So the mixtape situation is all lies, completely astroturfed, and I don't think anyone believes it's real. People, and they are pushing it so hard, and gamers just don't care. We literally just said, don't care, didn't ask, who cares? And that's it. The lefties are powerless. And that's why I love this situation so much. At the end of the day, they're completely powerless. They're toothless, they're powerless, no one listens to them, no one cares. Their lies have become so desperate, they're literally trying to increase their numbers just by saying, look at the sky, it's green. And then they hope that someone is like looking down at the ground and being like, oh wow, the sky is green? Wow, you're so smart. And that's the only way that they currently can accumulate people. The dumbest of people who don't know anything and will literally just gobble up any lies thrown in their direction. Quite disgusting if you ask me, but hey. Boys, this is what winning looks like, okay? This is what winning actually looks like, and I have to say, it feels good. Anyway, thanks for watching, bye!